So today what we're doing is the next step in our study of the Holocaust, and we have an essential question where we're going to look at U.S. response to the Holocaust. So our question is, did the U.S. do enough to support the European Jews who were persecuted by Nazi practices? And what I thought we would do is we would look at 4 different events that happened. And I have given you different types of sources. You have a secondary source that gives you background information on the event. You will also have primary sources. Some of them are testimony, some of them are photographs, some of them, what else do you have? You have political cartoons as well. So there's a variety of sources. I would like you to work in your groups to closely read the sources. Practice your academic conversation in discussing the sources. And then there are 4 things that I would like you to be able to report out onto, and that's what you're going to put on your group's presentation poster. So for the presentation, you will need to have a simple sketch that lists the name of your event, so the topic of your study, and just something very simple, a 5-minute sketch that will remind you what are the characteristics of that event when you're presenting. Your next box will talk about how did the United States respond to that event. So once you've explained what the event is, what did the United States do about it? And then you're going to look at how the United States justified what they did. What was their thinking or reasoning behind the action or inaction that they practiced? And then finally, does your group think what the United States did was appropriate or not appropriate? And what reasoning do you have and evidence do you have to support your reasoning? Are there any questions about the activity? All right, go ahead and get started.
Yeah, they put it like in the newspapers, but they were all at like page 11. Like it's over the front page. So they like just listed it.
It didn't show like U.S. It talked about U.S. for the specific event. Like in this article, it just talked about how. Someone just talked about how like they talked about the situation, but it didn't talk about what U.S. did to help them.
Wait, did they?
I think they
Wait, can we read the rest? Because if they liberate after, then they're not as bad.
I think when they showed up, they liberated.
And then
Right,
when
with,
he
like,
came, when Howard came, it's because like he wanted to have like they all himself that's right here.
Yeah, if it's like.
So like in case people say it's like oh it's just it wasn't
Because on that paper, the response was that the U.S. ambassador in Germany, in Berlin, they were like, this couldn't happen in like a 20th century civilization. So it's kind of like they're calling whoever orchestrated the crystal knot, it's like they were calling them uncivilized because, you know, this couldn't happen in modern times. And they have
W1. WI. Okay, what is that, right?
He served as an interpreter for the 2 larger original countries.
All right, so day 2, it's time to present our research and our work. So I'm going to have you hang your posters up. So first of all, I'd like to number off. You will be poster 1, poster 2, poster 3, poster 4. Poster 1, poster 2, poster 3. Okay. If you have poster 1, then your posters will go up here. Your side over here, your side over here. If you have poster 2, your posters will go there and there. And if you have poster 3, your poster will go there. I'm going to ask you guys to put your 3rd poster back on that back door. Okay? And then poster 4 here, you'll go back on the easel. Okay? All right. Now, you have been numbered off 1, 2, 3, 4 in your group. If you are a number 1, you will start at poster 1. If you are a number 2, you will start at poster 2. If you are a number 3, you will start at poster 3. And if you are a number 4, you're going to start at poster 4. Okay, does everybody understand where to go and what to do? And then I will, when everybody's in spot, I'll check. And then I'll give you 3 minutes. I'll say time starting, and you'll have 3 minutes to present your poster and answer questions. Okay? All right, great. Thanks. Let's get started.
Basically they denied all, no one followed any rules, and they basically got to do anything they wanted Jewish, and so Jewish people, Jewish shops, Jewish homes, and then
because their economy was unstable and they could barely take care of them.
So they had to turn away all the immigration requests.
Yeah, that's why they're like, their flags are saying they're pushing them away, like, get away from us, that kind of thing.
So the St. Louis was appropriate because at the time there was the Great Depression, so by letting the passages in, they didn't like U.S. didn't want any more job production. There were also deep roots of anti-Semitism.
Respond to when immigrants from other countries, specifically Jewish passengers, attempted to get into U.S., but they stopped them because of economic issues and political issues.
U.S. plane, and these are bombs, so they're supposed to be dropping bombs, but they look like a do not sign, so basically it interprets to do not bomb.
And it's this is because they had the troops to do it, and they have the weaponry to do it, but they didn't want to divert their planes from other missions to bomb Auschwitz because they had their own priorities, and they also didn't want to kill, because if they were to bomb Auschwitz, then they would also kill the people inside the camps as well.
Get rid of the strong Jews by putting them on a death march, and they left all the weak ones to die in the camp. And then when the U.S. came to liberate, the remaining Jews showed them around and told them everything that happened. And it was risky to send over themselves and a whole bunch of journalists because they wanted to publicize and educate the American people of what they were fighting for in the war, showing what really the Nazi death camps were and the reality of it all. Our group said that it was an appropriate response because it actually showed what the Nazis were doing in the camps. It also involved members of Congress and the press, or by including the members of Congress to show what it is. They have direct effect on what the U.S. can actually do for the Jewish population and the people who were persecuted. So that's why he asked Congress to come, because it would help the U.S. people.
the president wanted more evidence of the actual situation that was happening, and that's why they didn't really take action. So, yeah.
I agree with Victoria's statement, and I just wanted to add on saying that I don't think it was right for the Germans to react the way that they did, because only one German official was assassinated by a 17-year-old Polish Jew, yet 91 Jews' lives were taken. So I think that compares to nothing. And also, there were 30,000 Jewish men who were also arrested. And I think the U.S., they didn't have enough proof, but I think they should have still taken a little bit of action, because the Germans were very extreme in the way that they reacted.
Also, to add on to that, it says on the paper that Ms. Burch gave us that they de-emphasize the murder of the Jews. The New York Times put it in the newspaper, and they put it near the end, like page 11, instead of the front page, even though it's a really important event.
So, are you saying that U.S. didn't find what was going on in Germany as significant?
Yeah, they did.
I would like to add on to what Stella, Minetti, and Victoria were saying, but also I think that the U.S. didn't really do anything about the personal law, because they had their Neutralization Act, so they still had to keep everything to themselves.
before we continue, I have a question for everybody. When did all these events occur? Like, when did Kristallnacht occur?
Oh, Kristallnacht occurred on November 9th, 1938.
Right. And when did the sailing of the St. Louis occur?
It occurred on May 13th, 1939.
Alright, and the liberation of Jews event, that occurred in what time period?
They surveyed the dead around April 1945.
And the bombing of Auschwitz, or the non-bombing, occurred in 1944. Now, I asked this question because I needed the time frame for this, because in the early stages of the war, 1938 to 1939, the U.S. was not very involved in the war, so they were still largely isolationist, and they didn't have very much information. But as the war continued and the U.S. gained more information, they could take more action, as in the later stages, when they began to help with the liberation of Jews somewhat.
Sorry, I'm confused. Ethan, are you saying that do you agree with what the U.S. did, or do you disagree?
No, I'm just.
They did enough.
I think Ethan's trying to say that he doesn't have he's not stating what his preference is, but he's just trying to get an overview of what's happening throughout the time period and how the U.S. didn't really do as much in the beginning because they weren't committed in the war yet.